I press my hand against the intricate embroidery adorning my wedding dress fingers, tracing the delicate desert florals I've spent months stitching. The fabric whispers against my skin as I step through my parents' front door, ready to share this piece of my heart with them. Champagne glasses clink in the distance. My steps falter. The sound floats from the formal living room, accompanied by familiar laughter that makes my stomach clench. I follow the noise, my dress rustling softly against the marble floors. Under the crystal chandelier, my sister Brooke twirls in a cloud of expensive perfume, her designer stilettos clicking against Italian tile. A small crowd of our parents' friends clusters around her, champagne flutes raised. May 14th at Oak Ridge Atelier. Brooke announces, her voice carrying that musical lilt she uses when she knows she has everyone's attention. My perfect day. The room spins. My fingers dig into the doorframe as I struggle to stay upright. That's my wedding date, my venue. Our mother Margaret beams her social smile firmly in place as she squeezes Brooke's arm. Our father Howard stands nearby, chest puffed with pride, his watch catching the light as he raises his glass. That's my wedding date. The words slip out before I can stop them, barely above a whisper. The room goes quiet, almost quiet. Someone's champagne glass tinks against another. A throat clears. Brooke's eyes meet mine, bright with something that might be triumph. Oh, Clara, I didn't see you there. Of course she didn't. No one ever does. My mind drifts to Sedona, to Miles down on one knee in the red dust at sunset. No cameras, no audience. Just us and the desert wind and the turquoise ring he'd carved himself. We'd celebrated with a gas station hot chocolate huddled in the back of his truck while he told me about the life we'd build together. A life that was ours, not a performance. I already booked Oak Ridge. I say, my voice steadier now. We met there, Miles and I, you know that. My mother sets down her champagne. Clara, darling, don't make a scene. I pull the hand-designed invitation from my bag, the one I'd come to show them. Desert flora and olive branches frame the date and venue. May Oak Ridge Atelier. Howard glances at it, his business smile sliding into place. A simple affair would suit you better anyway, Clara. Something intimate. The word drips with condescension. Like when I was 12 and won the Young Artists competition. They'd missed the ceremony for Brooke's dance recital. It wasn't a major competition, they'd said. Just a local thing. I looked down at my dress. One of my former students designed it with me. Every stitch holds meaning. Every flower tells our story. Miles keeps telling me that's what matters, not the spectacle. Brooke, I step closer, my voice low. You know that's my wedding date and venue. She laughs, the sound like breaking glass. You didn't trademark it. Her wedding will have more people, more coverage. Howard cuts in, his tone clipped. It makes more business sense. Yours is so personal, anyway. Margaret touches my arm, her fingers cold. You can move it. For your sister. You've always been so good about these things. The room blurs. I see myself at 8 giving Brooke my art supplies because she'd lost hers. At 16, I missed my first gallery showing because Brooke had a cold and needed company. At 25, letting her take credit for the mural design she'd watched me sketch. Always stepping aside. Always being the bigger person. You're being dramatic, Brooke says, but her eyes gleam with satisfaction. It's just a date. I look at my dress, at the invitation in my trembling hands. At my parents' practiced expressions of patient disapproval. At my sister's familiar smile of victory. Something shifts inside me, like a door long rusted shut, finally breaking free. Without a word, I fold my dress over my arm. The fabric settles against me, soft and sure. I turn away from their expectant stares, their certainty that I'll yield. Again. As I walk out into the fading sunlight, a question echoes in my mind, unfamiliar and sharp. What if I stop disappearing behind me? Champagne glasses clink. Celebration resumes. But for the first time, I don't look back. Have you ever watched someone take what was rightfully yours while everyone expected you to smile through it? My next move will show what happens when the responsible one finally stops being responsible for everyone else's feelings. 2 hours later, Oak Ridge Atelier's number flashes on my phone screen. I press accept, fingers steady despite the tremor in my chest. Clara Bennett speaking. Ms. Bennett. Sarah Chen, the venue coordinator, clears her throat. I need to discuss your May 14th reservation. A cardinal lands on my office windowsill, red against glass. Of course, your reservation has been... The cardinal takes flight. My hand flattens against the cool surface of my desk. I'm sorry. We received a substantial offer to buy out the date. Her voice wavers. The other party indicated you were aware of the situation. Miles stands in my home office doorway, coffee cups in hand. His eyes find mine. The other party, I repeat. My sister. Sarah's silence confirms it. She said you didn't mind. The coordinator's words tumble out. That you'd agreed to... step aside. The coffee cups make soft sounds against my desk as Miles sets them down. His hand finds my shoulder. When did she contact you? My voice sounds far away. Last week. She brought your parents. Your father spoke quite convincingly about the business advantages of their proposed event. Of course he did. Howard Bennett turning my wedding into a networking opportunity. For Brooke. I end the call with mechanical politeness. Miles kneels beside my chair, his architect's hands warm against mine. I have the contract here. I pull up the folder on my computer. We can fight this. Clara. His voice is gentle, testing. The deposit cleared. We have rights. Look at me. I turn. His eyes hold that steady warmth that first drew me in at his gallery installation. Do you want to fight your family through lawyers? He brushes a tear I hadn't felt fall. Or do you want to build something beautiful they can't touch? The room blurs. I press my forehead against his shoulder, breathing in sawdust and coffee. I need to talk to them first. I'll drive. An hour later, Howard's Mercedes gleams in the circular drive of my parents' Tudor mansion. I grip the folder of venue documents, contracts printed in precise black and white. The housekeeper shows us Howard's study. Morning light streams through leaded glass, highlighting the silver in his hair, as he stands behind his mahogany desk. I was expecting you. He gestures to the leather chairs. We remain standing. Why? The word scrapes my throat. It's business, Clara. He straightens his tie. Brooke offered significantly more, and her guest list includes potential clients' media coverage. It's my wedding date, which can be changed. He opens his palms. Be reasonable. You've always managed without the spotlight. Brooke needs this. The words hit like physical blows. You've always managed. Brooke needs it. I've stepped aside my entire life. My voice cracks. My art shows, my graduations, every time she wanted attention, I made myself smaller. That's what makes you special, darling. My mother appears in the doorway, pearls gleaming. You're so good at handling disappointment. Miles's hand tightens on my waist. Handling disappointment. The words taste like metal. Is that what you call it when I gave Brooke credit for the Morrison Building mural? The one I spent 6 months designing while she took Instagram photos of the process. She needed the portfolio boost. Margaret dabs at her eyes with a monogrammed handkerchief. You were already established. I was established because I worked for it. Everything I have I built myself, while you were funding Brooke's 5th career change. Now, Clara. Howard's business smile hardens. There's no need for dramatics. This is a simple venue change. It's not about the venue. The truth rises like dawn. It's about being seen, being heard, having something that's mine without Brooke taking it because she can. Brooke needs the spotlight. Howard's admission stops my breath. You've always managed without it. Always managed. I turn around and head back home. Another disappointment to manage well. The words echo as Miles and I drive home in silence. They follow me up the stairs to our apartment. Ring in my ears as I fold my wedding dress into its garment bag, fingers trailing over each hand-stitched flower. Miles watches from the doorway, phone in hand. I recognize his expression, the one he wore presenting his first major design to the architecture board. Cancel the vendors, I whisper. I'll call the florist tomorrow. My phone buzzes. Brooke's name lights up the screen. Can't wait to show you my vision board for my perfect Oak Ridge wedding, thinking champagne fountains and live doves, so much better than your little garden party plan. I set the phone face down. Miles crosses to the kitchen table, unfolds a leather portfolio I've never seen. There's something I need to show you. Blueprints spill across the oak surface, glass and stone rising from desert rock, sweeping windows framing mountain views. What is this? My estate in Flagstaff. His fingers trace the lines. I designed it after graduation, built it with my trust fund before I walked away from the family business. I stare at him. Trust fund? Does the Whitaker Foundation ring any bells? The Architectural Preservation Society. The anonymous donor who funded the gallery where we met. That was you. He shrugs. I wanted to build something meaningful, not just add to the family portfolio. The plans blur as tears fill my eyes. Why didn't you tell me? Because you loved me for my sketches, not my bank account. His hand finds mine. The estate is yours if you still want May 14th. Miles, I've watched you disappear a little more every time they asked you to step aside. His voice roughens. No more. No one gets to erase you again. I look at the blueprints, at the dress hanging silent in its bag, at the man who sees me, who's always seen me. Okay. The word comes out steady. Okay. I squeeze his hand. Show me our home. A smile breaks across his face like sunrise. Behind us, my phone buzzes with another text from Brooke. I don't turn around. Some doors need to close before others can open. And some people need to stop apologizing for taking up space in their own lives. I've spent 34 years being the responsible one, the good sister, the one who steps aside. Watch me step forward instead. 2 hours later, my phone buzzes against the kitchen counter, interrupting my 10th attempt at redesigning our wedding invitations. A notification from an unfamiliar account slides across the screen. You deserve better. Can we talk? The message sits there, stark and simple, from Lucas. Brooke's fiancé. Miles peers over my shoulder, his breath warm against my neck. You should meet him and hear what another lecture about family loyalty. The words taste bitter. I've had enough of those from Mom this week. Clara. Miles catches my restless hands between his. You won't know until you listen. I text him back to meet tomorrow at the coffee shop near Chinatown. The next day, the coffee shop sits tucked between a bookstore and an antique mall, far from Brooke's usual haunts. Lucas already occupies a corner table, shoulders hunched beneath his expensive sweater. His fingers drum against a paper cup, and he keeps glancing toward the door. Thank you for coming. He pushes a second cup toward me as I sit. Vanilla latte, right? Brooke mentioned it once. The gesture catches me off guard. I wrap my hands around the warmth, letting the silence stretch. I didn't know. The words burst from him. About the venue. About any of it. Brooke told me you canceled because of budget issues. My grip tightens on the cup. That's not what happened. I know that now. He runs a hand through his hair. The whole thing's turned into this production. Reality TV cameras, sponsored centerpieces, social media campaigns about our magical Bali meeting. His laugh holds no humor. We met on Hinge at happy hour. Lucas. He slides a flash drive across the table. You need to see this. The small black rectangle sits between us like a live grenade. I don't want to destroy my sister's happiness. No. His voice carries a sharp edge. You need to see who's actually destroying things. After we watched it together, I asked him, why? The word scrapes past my throat. Why are you showing me this? Lucas stares into his empty cup. Because this isn't the woman I thought I was marrying. 2 hours later. At home, Miles sets up his laptop while I pace our living room. We don't have to watch it, he says softly. Yes. I sink onto the couch beside him. We do. The first video opens with Brooke's face flushed with champagne and triumph. Of course I outbid her. Her laugh rings tinny through the speakers. Clara's so pathetic, always playing the good sister. I'm taking her perfect day because I can. My hands begin to shake. Miles pauses the playback, but I shake my head. Keep going. Screenshots fill the screen, messages from Brooke to her friends. Clara's too soft, too forgettable, she'll cave like always. Then audio. Brooke's voice, silk smooth, offering the gallery coordinator a consulting fee to bump my reservation. The drive contains hours more, but I've seen enough. Miles and I sit at our kitchen table, the evidence spread between us like shattered glass. We could send it to everyone, Miles suggests, but his tone tells me he already knows my answer. No. I trace the grain of the wooden table. I don't want revenge. I want... The right words hover just out of reach. Miles squeezes my hand. Recognition. Yes. Something loosens in my chest. Just the truth. He makes a call to his friend Stefan, an AV professional who helped document his architectural projects. Together they craft a 5-minute video. No public humiliation. No dramatic accusations. Just Brooke's own words carefully edited to show the pattern without the cruelest barbs. We'll embed it in the private RSVP links, Miles suggests, only for our actual guests. An hour later, I watch the final cut, seeing my sister's face transform from practiced charm to calculated spite. The familiar urge to protect her rises, but something else rises stronger. I'm not going to erase her. The words come slowly, each one certain. I'm just going to stop erasing myself. The next weeks pass in a blur of purpose. The estate in Flagstaff transforms. Glass walls rise between ancient stone-framing views of red rock cliffs and endless sky. Desert wildflowers bloom along winding paths, their colors echoing the embroidery on my dress. Miles coordinates with quiet efficiency, his architectural vision merging with my artistic one. Each decision feels like reclaiming a piece of myself. The RSVPs begin arriving. Not just check marks, but notes. The venue looks breathtaking. We can't wait to see what you've created. This will be extraordinary. Whispers reach us through mutual friends, questions about our unique location, speculation about the artistic triumph we're planning. Even Mom's Bridge Club buzzes with curiosity. I sit in what will be our ceremony space, watching sunset paint the glass walls in shades of amber and rose. The air smells of sage and possibility. Miles finds me there, 2 cups of hot chocolate in his hands, just like the night we got engaged. Look what came today. He sets a thick envelope beside me. Another wedding invitation, cream and gold announcing Brooke and Lucas's celebration at Oak Ridge Atelier. I pick it up feeling its weight. The old ache stirs, but doesn't overwhelm. She'll find out soon, Miles says softly. About the video. About this place. I know. The desert wind whispers through native grasses we planted along the paths. But I'm done living in her shadow. The sun slips behind distant mountains. Through the glass walls, stars begin to emerge, bright and uncompromising. I think of all the times I dimmed my own light to let Brooke shine brighter. Sometimes... I tell Miles the most powerful response to cruelty isn't shouting louder. My fingers find his warm and steady. It's creating something so beautiful it speaks for itself. In the growing darkness, our estate glows like a lighthouse. Not a statement of revenge, but a declaration of worth. A place where nothing and no one will be erased. My phone chimes. Another message from Lucas. She knows. A week later, Brooke's latest Instagram story freezes her perfect smile, faltering as she refreshes her follower count. 20 less than yesterday, 50 less than last week. The phone slips from her fingers onto her silk duvet. What do you mean you can't match it? Her voice cracks through my laptop speakers. The wedding planner's response comes muffled, apologetic. I close the video Lucas sent, my hand steady on the keyboard as I grade student portfolios. A text from Mom lights up my phone. Have you seen what Brooke posted about the venue upgrades? I let it sit unanswered like the 15 others this week. Through my office window, desert wildflowers catch the morning light, their shadows painting patterns on student artwork. My advanced class's final pieces will be perfect for the wedding. Later that day, the drive to Sagewind Estate winds through hills dotted with saguaros. Each curve reveals another angle of Miles's vision glass walls reflecting sunset colors, stone terraces overlooking valleys that stretch forever. Two workers carefully position an ancient olive tree along the entrance path, its gnarly branches reaching toward others already settled into their new home. Your sister's wedding planner called again. Sandra, the estate manager, tells me as I walk past. I followed your instructions, no details provided. Thank you. The words come easily now without the guilt that used to chase them. Inside my former student, Maria adjusts lighting in the main hall. The glass ceiling bathes her installation in natural light copper wire sculptures that catch and scatter sunshine like desert rain. Perfect, I tell her. Her smile mirrors my own. Later that night at home, Miles finds me on the terrace as the sun sinks toward the horizon. He carries 2 mugs of hot chocolate steam curling in the cooling air. Just like that night in Sedona. He settles beside me on the stone bench, his shoulder warm against mine. The video edit is ready, he says quietly. Want to see it? I take a slow sip, letting the chocolate warm me from inside. Show me. His laptop screen glows in the gathering dusk. The footage begins with Brooke's voice sharp with triumph. Clara's so always playing the good sister. I'm taking her perfect day because I can. Cut to the gallery coordinator's careful testimony about the bribery attempt. Lucas's pained confession about the stolen venue. We removed the worst parts, Miles says, like you asked. I touch the screen where Brooke's face freezes in mid-laugh. She's my sister, I whisper. Even now. I know. His arm tightens around me. That's why we're not blasting this everywhere. Just the private RSVP portal. My phone buzzes again. Dad's number. I let it ring through to voicemail, already knowing what it'll say. His business voice demanding explanations. Mom's tears about family harmony. I open my email instead, typing 3 sentences to their joint account. I've made my decision. The estate wedding will proceed as planned. I hope you'll understand. Brooke's latest Instagram Live starts automatically when I close the email. Her voice sounds brittle as she describes the stunning upgrades to Oak Ridge Atelier. The comments scroll past. But what about the estate wedding everyone's talking about? Is it true about Sagewind? Which venue is better? The live ends abruptly. Miles's hand finds mine in the growing darkness. Having second thoughts, I look out over the valley where the first stars pierce the purple sky. The estate glows from within every window, warm with possibility. Student artwork lines the walls, pieces I've watched grow from tentative sketches to bold statements. My own reflection in the glass shows a woman I'm finally starting to recognize. No, I say. I'm not doing this to hurt her. I'm doing this for us, for them. I gesture to Maria's sculptures, to the student photographs and paintings that will surround our guests. For everyone who's ever been told their vision wasn't big enough. Speaking of vision, Miles pulls out his phone, showing me Lucas's latest text. The Oak Ridge wedding party has dropped by half. Sponsors pulling out celebrity guests sending regrets. I close the message. Not our problem. We sit in comfortable silence as full dark settles the estate's lights, casting gentle shadows. Tomorrow, my advanced students arrive to help with the flowers. Their excitement fills my inbox, not just about the wedding, but about seeing their art displayed with purpose, with pride. The last voicemail notification blinks on my phone. Mom's voice no longer demanding, but uncertain. Clara, please, can't we talk about this? I fold my fingers through Miles's, feeling the quiet strength of his hand. The answer will keep until morning. Right now, the desert night wraps around us like a promise, and for once, the silence speaks louder than words. Behind us, Maria's sculptures catch starlight, throwing unexpected patterns across the terrace. Beautiful because they refuse to apologize for the space they claim. Like me. The hot chocolate warms my hands just like that night Miles proposed. But this time, I'm not the one who needs to disappear. On the wedding day, the desert light pours through floor-to-ceiling windows, painting golden stripes across my wedding dress. The hand-stitched florals catch the dawn, each petal a story of perseverance, blooming against white silk. My fingers trace the embroidery, hundreds of hours of work transformed into something permanent, something mine. A knock at the door breaks my reverie. Sarah, my closest friend since college, peeks in. Breakfast delivery, She carries a silver tray with fresh berries and a handwritten note. The paper trembles in my hands as I unfold it. Miles's architect's script flows across the page. Remember the hot chocolate in Sedona? Today we built something even better. All my love, M. My eyes blur. Sarah squeezes my shoulder. No tears yet. We just finished your makeup. Outside the estate hums with activity. My former students arrive early, arms full of desert wildflowers. They spread across the grounds like a well-choreographed dance, placing arrangements with the same care they once used in my classroom. Through the window, I watch me first teaching assistant, direct the others with quiet confidence. Professor Bennett. They wave up at me. The sight fills my chest with warmth. These are my people, the family I chose. The morning flows like water. My dress settles around me, each embroidered flower finding its place. Sarah weaves olive branches through my hair, the silver-green leaves catching light. Ready? She asks. I study my reflection. The woman in the mirror stands straight, shoulders back. No more shrinking. The ceremony space takes my breath away. Desert flora frames the glass walls of Miles's masterpiece, bringing the landscape inside. Guests fill the seats, not the society crowd Brooke would have invited, but faces that matter. My students, fellow artists, people who saw me even when I tried to disappear. Your choice, Sarah reminds me as we pause at the aisle's start. No one has to give you away. Music rises not the traditional march, but the indie song that played the night Miles and I met. My first steps are steady. Each foot forward carries the weight of a decision to be seen, to take up space to shine. Miles waits beneath an arch of desert wildflowers. His eyes never leave mine as I approach. This is no performance for cameras or social media. Just us building something real. Our vows flow from memory, not cards. Miles speaks of quiet strength and second chances. I promise to stand beside him, never behind. When he squeezes my hands, I feel the calluses from his work architect's hands that build beautiful things. The reception unfolds in the estate's great room. Laughter bounces off glass walls as sunset paints the desert copper. I spotted the gallery coordinator from Oak Ridge among the guests, her smile genuine. No, Lucas. His absence speaks volumes. Miles leads me to our first dance. The same song plays. His whisper tickles my ear. Look around. This is the wedding you deserved. He's right. Every detail reflects intention, not spectacle. Student artwork lines the walls. The cake features hand-painted desert blooms. Each element tells our story. Miles's best man hands him a microphone for his toast. My husband, the word still new on my tongue, glances at the AV team and nods once. To my wife, Miles begins, who taught me that true strength isn't loud. Screens descend silently. My heart pounds as Brooke's voice fills the room's speakers. Clara's so pathetic, always playing the good sister. I'm taking her perfect day because I can. Gasps ripple through the crowd. The gallery coordinator's testimony follows, describing Brooke's attempt to bribe her way into my date. I sit perfectly still, hands folded in my lap. This isn't revenge. It's the truth, finally set free. The video ends. In the silence that follows, the main doors burst open. Brooke stands in the entrance, designer dress, wrinkled mascara tracking down her cheeks. Her finger shakes as she points at me. You planned this. I start to rise, years of peacekeeping pushing me to smooth things over one last time. But another voice cuts through the tension. Talia Brooke Bennett. Our mother stands spine straight as a steel rod. The use of Brooke's middle name freezes everyone who knows our family history. It's Margaret's nuclear option, saved for moments of severest disapproval. Leave! Margaret's voice carries to every corner. This is not your day. Howard rises beside her, hand settling on her shoulder. The gesture speaks volumes, a united front, decades too late but present now. Brooke's mouth opens and closes. She's never faced real consequences before. The shock on her face would be comical if it weren't so sad. She turns and flees, designer heels clicking against marble. Margaret approaches our table slowly. I've been blind for too long. Howard follows, awkward in his attempted apology. Clara, I hold up my hand. Thank you for standing up just now, but we'll need time. They nod, understanding the boundary. The reception flows on, guests dance, stories are shared. Joy rebuilds itself in the spaces where truth cleared the air. Later, Miles finds me on the balcony. The desert sunset paints everything in shades of possibility. He wraps his arms around me from behind, and we watch stars appear above the estate we'll call home. Any regrets? He asks. I lean back against him, feeling the steady beat of his heart. Just one. Oh, I wish I'd learned sooner that standing my ground doesn't make me the bad guy. He kisses my temple. You learned it exactly when you needed to. Below us, the party continues. But here in this quiet moment, I finally feel the full weight of what we've built. Not just a wedding or a home, but a life where I no longer need to make myself small. The desert wind carries the scent of sage and celebration. Tomorrow will bring its own challenges. But tonight I am exactly where I should be, exactly who I should be. And that's more than enough. A month later, after the wedding and honeymoon, I pressed my fingertips against the cream envelope thick Italian paper, catching the morning light streaming through our Flagstaff windows. The Florence postmark brings a smile to my lips. 2 weeks of art and architecture, Miles sketching beside the Arno, while I wandered through centuries-old textile shops. But this envelope isn't from Italy. The familiar slanted handwriting twists my stomach into a familiar knot. Brooke. Everything okay? Miles appears in the doorway, hair still damp from his shower. The seal breaks under my thumb. Inside, a single sheet of expensive stationery carries 5 words in my sister's precise script. This isn't over. You stole everything. A laugh bubbles up, surprising us both. I slide the letter into the drawer where I keep old sketches and half-finished designs. Actually, yes, everything's perfect. Miles wraps his arms around my waist, chin resting on my shoulder. You sure? Some bridges aren't meant to be rebuilt. I turn in his embrace, breathing in the clean scent of his soap. And that's okay. The same afternoon when I went for the lectures, the college hallways buzz with afternoon energy when Dean Rivera catches me outside my office. Professor Bennett got a minute. Inside, she settles into my visitor's chair, glancing at the framed wedding dress on the wall, my former student Maria's final project, the desert florals telling our story in thread and patience. We're creating a new position, Director of Arts and Equity Initiatives. She taps my desk with one manicured nail. Focus on first-generation artists' mentoring programs. The board was particularly impressed with your work supporting non-traditional students. My throat tightens. I'd be honored. The salary reflects the responsibility. She slides over a folder. You've earned this, Clara. That evening we went to visit my parents. My parents' dining room table felt smaller. Margaret serves pot roast on her everyday plates instead of the formal china. Howard passes the potatoes without commentary on proper serving techniques. The college mentoring program sounds wonderful. Margaret ventures her fork, pausing halfway to her lips. Those students are lucky to have you. Thank you, Mom. The words come easier now, wrapped in simple truth rather than desperate approval seeking. Brooke's empty chair sits like a ghost between us. Last I heard, she'd moved back home after Lucas called off the engagement. We navigate around her absence like skilled sailors, steering clear of familiar rocks. Miles, how's the new project coming along? Howard's attempt at casual conversation carries the weight of effort of trying. Sustainable housing development ahead of schedule. Miles squeezes my hand under the table. Though Clara's eye for color transformed the whole aesthetic. Always did have a good eye, Howard mutters into his coffee. Coming from him, it's practically a sonnet. Monday next week finds me in my office surrounded by student portfolios. A knock draws my attention to the door where Jenna hovers clutching her sketchbook. Her talent reminds me of myself at 19, all fire and uncertainty, needing permission to burn bright. Professor Bennett, I redid the self-portrait series. Come in. I clear space on my desk. And remember, your art deserves to take up space. The afternoon sun paints shadows across her latest raw work, raw, honest pieces that make my chest ache with recognition. These are extraordinary, Jenna. My mom thinks art is a hobby. Her fingers twist in her sweater. Dad says it's not a real career. Look at me. I wait until she meets my eyes. What matters is what you think. A tap at the door reveals Miles holding takeout bags. Lunch break. Jenna leaves as he comes in. He spreads architectural drawings across my desk while we eat, his enthusiasm contagious as he describes our future home. The studio will catch the morning light perfectly. You've thought of everything. I learned from the best. He steals one of my spring rolls. Speaking of which, your students' show at Oak Ridge opens next week. After we ate lunch, we went to the venue. 2 hours later, the gallery coordinator greets me like an old friend when we arrive for the installation. Looking around the space that was supposed to be my wedding venue, a peculiar peace settles over me. The path that felt like betrayal led somewhere better. That evening, Miles and I sat on our terrace watching the sun paint the desert in amber and rose. A year ago, I couldn't have imagined this. The certainty in my bones, the quiet joy of choosing myself. Any regrets? Miles asks, his fingers tracing patterns on my arm. About the video, the truth coming out. I consider his question watching a hawk circle overhead. I spent my life making room for everyone else. I finally made room for us. The desert breeze carries the scent of sage and endless possibility. That's not regret. That's freedom. His kiss tastes like promise and hard-won peace. Behind us, the house Miles built glows golden in the fading light, a testament to what happens when you stop disappearing and start building something real. Some say family comes first no matter what, but as the sun sets over our chosen home, I understand that sometimes standing your ground isn't its self-respect. And in that space between what we're taught to accept and what we dare to deserve, we find our truest selves.